You know, one of the things that was just mind blowing, to say it at the least, is how you kind of navigate my journey. Almost like I know what we do. Any good coach or trainer is not cookie cutter, but you kind of take my feedback and then kind of you're trying to kind of find the pathway, and it's kind of like you're driving this way a little bit, you're driving that way, and you're kind of, it's this really interesting um, technique that you bring to the table. And it's one of the things that has kept me going, I think, more than anything, because you talk about 25 years of a certain limitation. I've got that stacked up with beliefs and studies that I've read and pain and intuition of, if something's hurting, don't work it. And talk to me about that book we talked about the other day, and how pain may not be the signal to stop all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely not the signal to stop, because the difference between inflammatory pain and stretch pain are very different. And if you back off of stretch pain, you have pain for 25 years. So I went to the University of Virginia for this continuing education course called Running Medicine for 4 or 5 years in a row. And every year I came back a completely renovated PT, like just total different mindset, had been thinking about things the wrong way. And, I think that has a lot to do with the way that we're trained in PT school. But essentially, my issue with running, I have this long-standing calf problem, and I thought, if I can't help my own calf, like, what am I doing?
Right.
So I wanted to go and get more information, and I didn't realize that there's a whole genre of running specific PTs who just do running only. And the orthopedics of helping people get back to running is far superior than what we were taught in school. I mean, essentially, running is the hardest thing for our skeleton to do. So in order for it to get to this person, you got to get them healthy and then get them to a place where they can run. So it's the goals are above and beyond just getting people healthy. So during that process, I met a guy named Jay DeSherry. He's one of the top running PTs in the country. He left the University of Virginia. Now he's in Bend. But he's written a couple of books, and one of the books is called Running Anatomy for Runners. And highly, highly recommend it, even if you don't run. I think it should be required reading for PT school, actually, because what he's done is he's written a very technical textbook for the layperson and has explained some really, really complicated topics in a way and gives examples and cool pictures and stuff that makes it really easy for people to learn. I mean, it's a little hard to read, but people learn. And he has a chart on there where he lists all the connective tissue types: bone, connective tissue, ligament, tendon, muscle, and what happens when it rests, and what happens if you give it the force that it needs. And the force that it needs is what makes it flourish. So like a tendon that you don't apply tension to won't be able to tolerate tension.
Right.
So, how do you adequately apply tension to that tendon, and that tendon flourishes and grows? So what I'm doing when you come in is I have a direction. I know that I need to take this knee. I've got loads on squat. I've got functional activities that I need you to be able to do before I can get you to run. I mean, selfishly, I feel like the top of the food chain is to get you to run. And if I can get Gio to run, I can get literally anyone on the planet. Anybody on the planet, I can get them to run. So, that's the challenge that I've put on top of myself.
Right.
Your version of running is what we're going to do. But so I have this end game in mind that has requirements. And if I start at those requirements and I work all the way back, that brings us to today. Today, my hamstring's sore, my calf hurts, my patellar tendon's irritated, my back is sore, my hip, whatever. And getting those tissues on board so I can get to squats and deadlift today requires just a little bit of sort of tweaking. And I use sets and reps and loads to get the connective tissue to do what I wanted to do. So, the thing that we've been fighting lately is this patellar tendon versus capsule irritation. And, you get to this knee extension progression 3 times a week, and, that's starting to pay off. Mm-hmm. The connective tissue, the capsular fibers are orienting themselves in a way that can tolerate better load. So get you out of the current state of symptoms and then get you doing what I need you to do so that today's load helps us get to tomorrow's load.
Right.
And tomorrow's load can help us to get to that next load. And we just continuously grind this load out, and, we're jumping. And we're right on the cusp of maybe trying to do a quick little run there.